Yeah, let's get into this. If you're watching on headphones,
Turn them down because here comes a little bit of music.
guys, this is a knife that I am glad came in. I had not gotten to see one of these. I've seen other brown knives. My friend Christian Ortiz up at Cerberus Knives has one, and it wasn't a knife that I really liked. It had nothing to do with the build or anything like that. Just was not a knife for me. And then this came in from Jesse over at Otter Arms, who, if you hang on a second, is going to get a shameless plug. So my buddy Jesse over at Otter Arms makes these modular stands for pew-pews. You can do barrel mount, and if you turn around and want to display a pew-pew because it's fancy and neat, you can just take that barrel mount right out, and you have a magwell mount. He makes them for different sizes, different types of gun, different calibers. This is for a 1911. If you need something like this, you just want to display your stuff, get a hold of him over at Otter Arms. You can use the code CrazySharp to get 20% off orders. I will provide that information in the links below. So just real quick, Jesse did a lot for me, just trying to help out. If you need one of these, they are great for on a bedstand. And if you have, like I said, showcase firearms that you would like to display, you can do it with a magwell mount, and it does give you a real sharp presentation. So, all right. Back to the knives. It wasn't paid promotion or anything. Jesse's just a real good friend of mine. So like I said, this knife came in. I had really not fallen in love with the ones I'd seen. This one came in, and the second I pulled it out of the box, I really fell in love with it. And I will have you guys know, this is a top flipper. And if you guys know, top flipper, front flippers are usually not something I'm into so much because of the size of my hands. They make it awkward. This thing is beautiful in action, beautiful in execution. It is on the pricey side. We'll talk about the price at the end. And unfortunately, just to get it out of the way, guys, these are currently unavailable. They are only made in limited quantities. This is one that Jesse ordered a while back. So let's go ahead and we'll turn the camera around. We'll get some weight. We'll get some specs. I've got everything written down. Let's just talk about this really, really, really great knife done by Brown Knives. So first things first, let's take a good look at this because the handles on this are amazing. If you look at that, it looks three-dimensional. I don't know how well it comes through. It looks like you'd be able to feel that. Perfectly smooth. Perfectly smooth. So this is the Brown Cortex, and this one is done, and we're going to head and get this out of the way so I can talk about the handle scale material. This is done in what they call carbon marvel plate, green plate, and I'm not sure, it looks like fat carbon fiber, but this is really, really attractive. I do like that green and black and the way you see the definite different layers of the carbon fiber in there. Like I said, this is a Brown Knives Cortex, so let's go ahead and get into some specs. Let's take a good look at it. So this is a 3.4 inch blade done in CPM 154 with a 4.35 inch handle for an overall length of 7.75, and they say it's 2.7 ounces. This thing is, it does have ceramic detent with a steel lock bar insert, titanium frame lock, and like I said, it is a top flipper. So this does have their dual row ceramic bearings, the Brown dual row ceramic bearings. I'm not going to take this knife apart to show you. One of the interesting things that I would show you is look at the stop pin on this. Now, I have several knives, and we'll bring one right here up, and I'll show you that has a similar stop pin kind of setup. However, if you look in here, the stop pin, you can see the stop pin right there through the gap in this knife. It does not move. It's set in the handles. Brown Knives, they put their stop pin in the blade. So as you see, it kind of just travels with the blade. Now, I have got to say this is one of the smoothest knives. As a matter of fact, I just cut myself. I just got myself right there with that knife by closing it. Good thing there's a lot of scar tissue and stuff right there, because that happens a lot. So literally that's what that area of my thumb looks different from, is because I cut myself there all the time. So it does have a finger aperture. Now I will say I wish that it was a little bit broader for that purpose, because I have a hard time with the aperture. But I will say that the action on this with this top flipper that I am typically not a fan of is truly amazing. I do not have a problem with this top flipper. This blade is super light. The fact that that closes so easily, that drops shut so close. This knife is so light. That blade is so light, and it just drops shut. I said all the milling, everything that was done on this, really, really clean. Nice lines, back spacer, really artistically well done. The pocket clip, while I'm typically not a fan of pocket clips that stand up like this, does not really get in my way too much, because the way the blade is, the knife is shaped, it just sits right there. It sits right there, and I don't even feel it. I don't even feel that sweep up. It's just done in a fashion that in my hand is just perfect. Like I said, look at those handle scales. Internally, you can see some of the workings. There is the lock bar insert, steel lock bar insert there, and you can see there's a cutout for that flipper tab to come up into, and it actually drops in. When that locks, the flipper tab drops into the handle scale. You guys see that? Watch. That's actually cut out so that it actually has room for that flipper tab. Done in I'd call this a Warncliffe style blade, or yeah, like a clipped sheep's foot. Comes out, it's nice and broad, comes down, really thin behind the edge. I sharpened this up. It took a screaming sharp edge. 154 does take a really, really clean edge. Look at that plunge, super clean plunge. Not straight, but not completely swept, just kind of in between. Their logo is done really well on both the pivot and the pocket clip. And just the blade finish itself, done really well. And I can tell that blade finish is holding up, because when this came, I can tell that Jesse uses the crap out of this knife, because it was just, one, it was so dull. And two, there was so much adhesive and stuff all stuck to it. I don't know exactly what Jesse does with it all day, but yeah, super, super smooth action. And like I said, I sharpened it, and I haven't cleaned it or put it in an ultrasonic or anything yet. And you can hear there's a little bit of grit left. I need to clean it up still from sharpening. But even with that, it is so, so smooth. This has got to be one of the smoothest knives. To be able to have, like I said, a blade that light and have it drop shut to the point where I did hit that callus on my finger to where it actually cut it a little bit. That is really, really good. The hardware, you can barely feel. I mean, you're obviously going to feel it because it has a hole in it, but like you can't feel the transition into it really. Super, super nice. Clean lines where it meets up. Really, really well done. I really like this knife. However, one of the down parts of it is this knife currently is unavailable. If you want to get in on the next run of them, you have to go to Brown Knives website and get on their pre-orders. So, yeah, Brown Knives Cortex. Super great. And like I said, it takes a lot for me to say that I'm a fan of a top flipper or a front flipper. And this just super, super nice. And I love that blade shape. I really love that blade shape. So like I said, I've seen the other Brown knives. Nothing against the knives themselves. I just was not a fan of the blade shape. And it just was not a knife that really appealed to me. This really is. And a lot like other knives, super thin. I mentioned Benchmade 940 in a video I did earlier today that I still have to edit. One of the things that you get with this is one of the things like that. Really small, compact package, full-sized EDC. So like I said, you're looking at, 7.75 overall length? Just shy of 8 inches on the mat. Let's zoom back out so you can see it. Yeah, like I said, just shy of 8 inches on the measurements on the map. Or mat, I should say. But like I said, this is the one that this is the thing that really, really, like, I sat and just watched that, like doing that. I was like, that is really, really clever. That way you can squeeze more into a smaller knife, because now he's given himself some relief to have a larger flipper tab and still have great lockup. And that cutout in there is deep and only a little bit of that sticking in. So that means as this knife wears and goes further up into the radius, that is still going to give it enough enough room for it to come up a little further and not, not prevent good lockup and wind up with lock rock. So yeah, let's go ahead and turn this around, do some final thoughts on this, guys. So yeah, guys, all in all, this is a great knife. Now, the deal is that these are what they have listed as semi-customs. So there's only 2 price points. You have a basic price point, and I forgot to get the weight. It says the base weight is 2.7 ounces. I went to go look for my scale. I don't know where it got put. Like I said, we are still packing. So didn't get any weight for it. But yeah, 2.7 ounces, it is light. I have a comparison to this knife, not in design and everything like that, but the way it feels and the way it's built, and just the action and everything about it like that. And that would be the Guthrie Knives Scout. So not anything similar in design or shape, but just the way it feels and the way it, the way it feels in hand and the action and everything, a lot like the Guthrie Scout. Also another incredibly good knife that I would just love to have, but just currently don't have the money for. Here's the issue with this knife at the moment. It is currently unavailable. You have to go in and sign up for the next run to get put in. I think it's $10 to get yourself a spot on the list. Basically just, paying to get on the list. The other thing is, this is kind of in that realm. It's getting into that upper echelon of price. $750 base price, and $850 for what you see here as shown. I found this exact knife. There was only one green one on their entire catalog of past work. So this is an $850 knife. Now, it's definitely worth it. It is actually, I would say that at $850, you're getting a lot for your money. There is so much that is just jammed into this knife. There's even internal engravings that, like I said, I couldn't really capture on camera. I tried and I deleted some of that stuff. But in hand, and the action, it's so buttery. It just makes you want to use it. And like I said, in hand, like to do actual work, nice thin blade, comes up to an acute point. So good. So, like I said, guys, that's the Brown Knives Cortex. And if you can get one, if you've got the money for one, you can't even feel that transition until you feel the milling where he's milled that. It's flawless. But anyway, like I said, if you can afford to get one, highly recommend the Brown Knives Cortex. The other knife that he has on their website is a great knife. It's just not. It just didn't speak to me the way this one did. This one really, right off the bat, I was like, oh, I like this, and it's got a really good profile. So, guys, that's it. That's it for today. I don't think I'm gonna film anything else. That's like almost 3 videos because I had some B-roll stuff. So if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. But you gotta tell me why. And if you guys are members of the channel, really, like I said in the thing, I really need to hear from you guys whether you like the videos or not. That's why you get them early. I use that as a metric to see what you guys like, because truly, you are customers of the channel. This content you are paying for it. So I would really appreciate it if especially you guys do, thumbs up, thumbs down. And like I said, if you don't like it, just give me a reason so I can explain it. So guys, that's pretty much it. There is a join tab below if you want to join the channel to support the channel through a monthly membership. And there's also applause tab below if you just want to give me a, hey man, here's $2, great video kind of a thing. So with that being said, that's all I've got. I love you guys. Keep it clean in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.